he does be champion. I heard he's really well in his life right now. And then yeah, he's just totally bragging about how awesome everything is. Everything is awesome.
I'm mostly laughing at our first attempt to do
Nothing.
this.
What's up?
The first time we tried to record this, and you use the same line of everything's going great in his life. And I like the idea that you're just like, that's gold. I got to use it again.
Well, it is. I mean, he's swinging the belt around. He's having a great ass time.
I
I
like
mean,
that. I saw a video on YouTube or something. Somebody had put together a montage of him swinging around the belts, like when he was Tyler Black and he did it with the ROH belt, and in NXT when he had the belt there, he was doing it.
I've seen just a bunch of like compilations of like just like 1 hour of him just swinging the WWE belt looped. they, they got a lot of stuff like that. Like there's plenty of Suplex City songs out there.
Yeah,
Even
I'm
even
sure if you go to Wrestling Tees, there's like a few for sale.
yeah, even Paul Heyman posted his own up there, and like it's just ridiculous. Like I saw like one video, like 2 hours of just Suplex City, bitch, just Brock saying it over and over.
Uh, I thought it was literally 2 hours. Is he also doing suplexes while it says Suplex City, bitch?
No, it's just him just saying it. But also, I seen like him just doing suplexes everywhere. I also saw this one meme. Now we're getting off subject, but I actually want to bring this up because I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
I saw one meme in which like he does his little um fuse, and like basically like the Dragon Ball Z fuse. Like he needs like the power to do a bunch of suplexes, so he fuses with Chris Benoit.
Oh shit.
And it's a bunch of pictures of him just suplexing John Cena.
I gotta I gotta look that up.
Anyway, off subject. So yes, Seth Rollins is like everything is awesome. You know, best life ever. And that's when Randy Orton comes down. He's like, hey, I deserve a shot because I beat your ass at the pay per view. So therefore, I've already beat the champion before he was champion. So I should be champion. And
And you know what? When you say champion that many times in a row, it's hard to argue with that.
yeah, it was like straight facts right there.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
clearly you wanted the most out of anybody because you just said champion like 50 times.
yeah, so basically that's what happened. So like with that going down, Kane steps in. Well, I'm tired of seeing Kane, to be honest.
I'm
But
tired of seeing a lot of people. Like I'm tired of seeing Randy Orton, but that's just because he's been in the company for like 13 years.
he's exciting to see, but I feel like they're at a point in which there is just simply the same people facing each other every week.
Yeah, it's like, well, we'll get to it next, but the next match really felt like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, the one after it. And
Yeah,
it could have been longer, but we'll get to that. So yeah, so everything's set up for Randy Orton. He wants to title shot, and he's like he never got his title shot when he lost to Bryan, like his rematch and all, and he beat the champion, so therefore he should get one. And Kane's reason, his way of dealing with it was, all right, you fight me now, and later on you have the triple threat match, and we see who gets a shot. And it feels like it threw Roman Reigns in there because it makes sense. He just had a match for the championship. And Randy Orton, it makes sense because he just came out there and basically let everyone know he deserves it. But randomly, they threw in Ryback.
yeah. Ryback's the fat friend at the club that you
Yeah,
bring along because everybody likes, but not really going to get a lot of play.
yeah. So yeah, so it goes into our next match. Well, our first match actually, because after the 30-minute promo we had, we go into actually Randy Orton versus Kane, and that wasn't really interesting.
Now, it's like I said, like it feels like it's the same Orton stuff we've seen.
Yeah, I mean it was decent for what it was,
It's
but it's
like
like
the guy Jay from OSW Review,
yeah,
which I'm sure if you're listening to this, you know what that is. He pointed out that the only thing Orton does now different than heel Orton is he'll do like a come on, and kind of just wave his hands and shit.
yeah.
But but
Truth,
like his wrestling style and everything else is like exactly the same.
truthfully, he's more of a Stone Cold like character, to be honest. Like he's not. He's a baby face because he's a bad guy. Everyone likes him being bad. Because you remember when it turned Stone Cold back to a heel during the time he joined with the. Well, you weren't watching at that time, probably.
No,
But
I wasn't.
yeah, he joined WCW again. Like the whole thing they did with that was they made him kind of like a coward and an asshole and stuff like that.
Was he stunning Steve Williams?
No, it was still Steve Austin, but he wore like the most colorful like leg brace ever. Yeah, no, as a baby face, he has to wear like the black ones to look cool, look badass.
Yeah.
As a heel, he had more fun. He had those colorful leg brace with different colors and stuff. So I got off subject, but basically, long story short, Randy Orton is kind of similar to Stone Cold in the fact that he's still doing the same thing he's done before, and people cheer for him because he's such a badass. That he's like this almost heel character.
But would you say that the Viper is no rattlesnake?
Oh,
See what I did there?
that's pretty good.
But yeah, the match was stupid. I'm tired of seeing Kane. Fucking, I guess, like, I don't hate Randy Orton, but like I said, it's just the same stuff. I guess I like heel Randy Orton more, just because he'll do his pose on the turnbuckle.
So yeah, that happened basically.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Randy Orton won it. So move on to the next match. Just get straight into something that's actually good.
Yeah, we got a little backstage segment where Kane, I guess, hinted at turning face somewhat.
Yeah, because Rollins tells him he has to start pulling his weight around here. And I was like, yeah, you fucking tell him, Rollins. I mean, he goes out there, puts himself in a match every single time, and gets his ass beat.
It's like, I'm scared that this is going to be a way for Kane and Big Show to face off, which would be good because it'll keep them from wrestling anybody else. But I don't want to see that match either.
No one wants to see that match. They might do a face turn for Kane, probably. And they're going to try to make him vicious again, like they always do. Like every year they push.
He's got to put the mask back on to save the business.
Yeah. Yeah, so that happened. I kind of like the idea he was told he has to carry his own weight because he really is just fucking losing all the time. When's the last time Kane just went out there and dominated and did like a really good job?
When did he first show up with Paul Bear? Like that was the last time. Oh no, wait, Dr. Isaac Yankem was the last time he really whooped some ass.
All right, so move on to Seth Rollins, and he comes out and he doesn't know who his opponent is. He ends up being Adrian Neville, who's just Neville because WWE just hates first names. And
they really are pushing the superhero gimmick with this Titantron with the like Earth and something streaking towards Earth.
Yeah, and I am fine with that. I mean, originally they were going to do a whole Mighty Mouse thing.
I mean, they still kind of are with the cape and the entrance and stuff. But it's like, I feel like he's a good enough worker that we can just forgive him for that for now.
Yeah, I mean, we don't mind that. I mean, I think it's kind of cool. I always think it's cool as like a big comic book fan. Come out with a cape. I think it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to it later, but I like Stardust's stuff. Oh, yeah. So I can't really say that I hate the cape.
Oh, yes.
Like, I wish Cody Rhodes would go back to doing his Doctor Doom shit where he had the hoodie and the mask. Yeah. Since we're talking about comic book stuff.
I was going to bring up someone said he looks like Mr. Sinister.
He does.
Yeah. He has attention to him.
It's got to be. He is a comic book fan.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about him more. But this match was awesome.
Well, yes, it was awesome, but I feel like they were given the time they could have had to put on a really, really good match.
I mean,
it's cool for being a Raw match. Like, basically, like, I'll subject for a moment. Give Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler a match on SmackDown. They'll tear the house down. Put them on Raw, there's, like, fucking time restrictions and stuff. I feel it's the same thing with this, Seth Rollins versus Adrian Neville. It's like, it was great for the time they had.
I mean, when I say it's awesome, it was great compared to everything else tonight on the show, it was the best match, which is sad because it was the second match of the night.
Yeah.
But, they're working a Raw style where they can kind of get certain amount of spots in. And then with Rollins as the champ, he can only do so much against them.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. It was a great way to show off what Neville could do in the ring. But I wasn't happy with the finish. I felt like the finish, of course, Rollins has to win. He's the champion. You have to make him, you can't have him lose to a new guy on the roster. You have to make him strong. But I felt like giving Neville that loss so fast, it's like, I don't know about that.
I mean, it's also a case of, eventually I want to see Rollins get rid of his lackeys.
Yeah.
It's cool that he's a shit heel where he's going to, cheap out every chance he gets. But at the same time, I would like him to be, a confident, I can do the shit on my own. Like we were saying with Randy Orton, where he eventually became I don't need, legacy to do my stuff for me.
Yeah.
So I guess it's good for now, but eventually I want to see Rollins get away from J&J security and having to do this, cheap getting out of matches kind of shit.
Yeah, so it was a really good match. It didn't last as long as I wanted it to, and it did have the kind of spots from Rollins I wanted to see. But I felt that the way the match was set up, it made total sense for Rollins to not go high flying along with Neville and try to ground him as he did.
Yeah. And I thought Neville sold really well, where he did the Rikishi spot of the spinning clothesline.
Yeah. Oh, that was awesome.
And one last thing before we move on, I like the fact that Neville, he did his usual flips where he does the flip across the ring.
Yeah.
And he did his back flip over the top rope and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I like that he threw a few more new things in there, like the head scissors or the Hurricane Rana into the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
It shows that, he has his moves that he goes to, but he also has new shit that, if you've been watching NXT, he hasn't pulled out.
I think with performers like him, or superstars is what WWE calls them.
Yeah, it's not wrestlers, but superstars.
Not wrestlers. Totally not wrestlers at all. But superstars like him, I feel like they're really good, but they have to actually have someone to play off of.
Yeah, and as we were saying, if you get rid of the main event guys, if you have a Rollins or a Luke Harper or a Cesaro, those guys, they've worked with the NXT people on the indies enough to where they know them well, and they can work off them really well.
Yeah, so it was a really good match, but Neville lost, and that's fine. I just felt like it was too fast for him to lose. I didn't watch SmackDown the week before, so I wasn't sure if he wrestled on that or not.
Yeah, but,
yeah, so I want to say no, and I may be wrong, but this is at least his second or third televised match, and for him to get lost that fast, I don't think it was the best thing for him. It's not gonna hurt him.
I mean, it was kind of good because it showed that he could hang with the champ.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like the John Cena thing of we know he's not going to lose, so the best you can hope for is the guy, showing us something against him.
Yeah.
And speaking of John Cena, he was next.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, he really good Stardust. It was actually a really good match. At first, it started off a little slow. They kind of picked up later on, and you saw Stardust doing a couple of things you don't normally see him do. And I really like the stunner. Well, they don't have a name for it yet. John hasn't named it yet, but it's basically like an off the rope stunner.
So you and Cena are such good fans, you know him by first name only?
Well, you call him Cena, know my last name.
I mean, it's me and John. Me and John were hanging out the other day.
You're having beers and stuff, and John was all like, you got to get back with your wife, your ex-wife and shit. Have you heard about that?
No, what happened?
Wiz Khalifa and whatever.
Notable rapist, Wiz Khalifa?
Yeah, notable rapist. Yeah. And Video Vixen, whatever the fuck her name is.
I don't know.
Plastic.
Is it the bald chick with the big ass?
Yeah, bald chick, big ass, and Wiz Khalifa. They actually got back together. Yeah, follow me? Yeah, they actually got back together because of John Cena.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's all over the news, like and stuff. Like basically, like his so-called performance that lasted longer than like most of the Divas matches on that card that day.
Yeah.
Um, During that, later on, he actually talked to John because they did that one song together, and like they're kind of cool now, and kind of talked him into like giving his extra try, I guess, or another shot or whatever.
I wonder if other rappers are now going to go on Raw and do one song to get their marriage back together.
Probably. I love the fact that they had Snoop Dogg on the show, and he just basically beat up Curtis Axel. No performance, just being there to beat up Curtis Axel.
Fucking Kendrick Lamar is going to show up and be like, John, I need your help, man.
Oh, no one needs John's help more than Drake, bro.
Oh, man. Jimmy Brooks needs help.
But our subject, yeah, they had a great match together.
Yeah, I
Stardust did
mean,
not. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I like the setup now that Cena's doing of just calling out anybody.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a case of we know Cena's always going to win, but it's fun to see, like, Cena wrestle all these mid-card guys that,
yeah,
like, when he was heavyweight champ, he just never would have wrestled, like, ever.
yeah. They weren't in his league, and he's having good matches with them, and it's allowing him to do certain things he wasn't able to do with like the other bigger guys. He's always facing huge guys, and
Yeah, I'm like this match, for example, showed that Cena can actually do a lot of stuff. Like when Stardust did that DDT and
yeah.
Cena sold it like he just planted his fucking brain into the mat.
Oh my god, that was so awful. The way it was a nasty DDT, super nasty. It was like wow, yeah, like the way he sold it, and like basically everything else he does. I feel like he can only do those things with a Dave O'Brien and a Dolph Ziggler and
A
Stardust and all that stuff.
Stardust or an Ambrose or somebody.
Yeah, but he never fights any of those kind of cats because he's stuck like fighting Kane and shit like that all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's also cool because of those guys are like smaller than Kane. Like Cena was able to pull out like a Michinoku driver against Stardust and all these other kind of like big power spots.
Yeah,
But like one other thing I wanted to bring up if before we move on, I guess, is I like when Stardust came out
yeah,
and he did his usual being weird stuff
yeah.
and he went over to one side of the like entrance and just started like pumping his hips like he was humping the air. Do you remember that when he came out and he's just like
Did he do it in the match too? I think he did it in the match as well.
Did he? I don't remember, but I just remember it on the entrance because I thought that shit was hilarious.
I feel like that's not the first time I've seen her do it. I don't know if he did
It's
it in this
not, but
match,
it's
but
the
he
most
did it
recent
before.
one.
Yeah, I think he
And
did
I was
it.
just go ahead.
That's I think he did do it very recently. Aside from just that one time,
I was just watching that thinking like I wonder what Eden thinks of her husband out there just acting like an asshole.
he's having the time of his life, which is all that matters.
Yeah, I mean it's a credit to Cody Rhodes that he can make me like enjoy Stardust, which should be an awful character. I mean, he's not exactly great as far as their storytelling is going, but whenever he shows up, I have a good time watching him.
I feel like it's more of him trying to make whatever he can work, wherever he's given work, and it's just really him just doing it. I think WWE's creative team, and we'll get to some people later on that this actually applies to, but I think their creative team pass out gimmicks and just want the performer to get it over, and doesn't really give the performer much to work with.
Which sad because like I mean the Stardust Gold Dust thing should have been a big deal, and creative just dropped the ball on that.
It ended with Goldust getting the pin, which he wasn't supposed to get,
Yeah,
and they moved
and
on for that. But I hear they may actually do it again, make it happen again.
I would like to see that just because that could lead to Cody Rhodes going back to Cody Rhodes.
Would you want him to go back to Cody Rhodes?
Eventually, like I feel like a lot of characters have a shelf life to where they can only last so long, and I feel like Cody Rhodes the guy, and especially because the Cody chants are a thing.
Yeah.
It's got to lead to him leaving Stardust behind eventually.
I think it's better for him as Stardust. I mean, I think like he's tried different things and it didn't really work out for him. And I think Stardust is basically like like Goldust. It's that one gimmick that sticks with you. I think he's that kind of stuck with it. Like if he moves on from it, he'll always be seen as Stardust.
I mean, maybe, but like I was saying earlier with like the Doctor Doom stuff, like I feel like he has better characters in him.
Yeah, I think that character in particular needs to be fleshed out more. And have more stuff going on with him than just coming out and doing the things he does. And they're not doing a good job fleshing him out, basically.
Like I want to see Cody or I want to see Stardust and Tyson Kidd go at it one time,
Yeah.
just so Cody can make the cat noises, that like cat hiss, and Tyson get all upset because he's into cats.
They said, see that shirt, Cesaro?
No.
It's like there's a picture of Cesaro wearing a shirt. He's with Natalia, like hanging out with her, and it says Cesaro. It has a little cat, like his paws up. It says pew pew pew, like he's doing a little pistol thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I know what I'm going to be looking for later on.
All right, so John Cena had a great match for Stardust. We know Stardust was not going to win this, but it's kind of cool to see John Cena come out, readily call people out, and then we have no idea who's going to come out, so it's always a surprise. And it's always like, how is this going to go? How is this going to happen? Like we know John's going to win, but we don't know how the match is going to actually be. And he's brought a lot of credit to the mid card. He's done a really good job, showing off the mid card.
I also think it's a fun way to, like, this is sort of a fun way to figure out who he can feud with, like, after the Rusev thing is over. Because if he just calls out people and he has, like, random matches, and let's say one of those matches is really good, then that's how they can decide who he's going to face next.
I have a feeling it's going to be Ambrose.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fun. I'd be willing to watch Stardust again. I mean, there's other people on the roster, so who the fuck knows what would happen?
Yeah, I mean,
like we might even see an NXT call-up just based on this gimmick.
Yeah, I mean, next week we'll get somebody brand new. We'll see what we can do with that person, and the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit at all. But I kind of see it as like right now, as of right now, they took Ambrose off TV. And I feel like if they ever did something with Ambrose and Cena, it'll probably make sense to give Ambrose the belt or like a mid card championship. Right now, where he's at, I mean, he had the U.S. championship before, and he kind of did nothing with it for a long time.
Yeah, he had it for like almost a full year.
Yeah, and he didn't really defend it often. So it comes down to if he gets it back now, it has more prestige. Along with where his character is now, it'll actually help him out more. Or whoever takes the belt from Cena is going to really elevate them a lot. So it's a really good gimmick.
I would like to see whoever wins keep the gimmick of just random match going.
That would be awesome.
Like, it would be cool if that was the stipulation for the belt. Because it would just be, like, how last time, or one of the times we've talked recently about Raw, about how we wish people would just have matches. Like, you don't need a lot of talking to have a match.
Yeah.
Like, this is the easiest way to get somebody, like, to not have to do a lot of mic work and just put on a good match.
Do you think they need to give I'll subject a little bit? Do you think they need to give probably Reigns a mid card belt?
I mean, it would definitely help credibility, but I feel like they don't want to spend too much time with Reigns out of the title picture, out of the heavyweight title picture.
I think the best way to deal with, well, we'll get to him later. Have ideas of what they could do with him. So let's move on from a really good match to kind of an awful match, I guess.
Yeah, I would say at best it was there.
Yeah. This is around the time I actually realized that I'm not really as invested to this episode as I should be. Will was it was the Bellas versus Paige and Naomi.
I mean, this was essentially the beginning of the end for the show.
Yeah.
And now that AJ's retired, you can really feel the fact that they've had no writing for the women's division at all, or the Divas division. I'm sorry.
I actually thought about like just not referring to them as divas anymore.
I feel like they should stop referring to them as divas, but maybe I don't. They've marketed too much, or their branding is too strong to get away from it.
It gets me confused. So I'm like, okay, in NXT they're women, in WWE they're divas.
Yeah, and I would rather be the women's champion than the Divas champion.
Yeah, they have
That's
a
like
championship than like this fucking butterfly ish thing they have going on with their belt.
it's like I don't even know. It'd be like the baddest bitch award, where it's like,
Oh.
yeah, I'm not sure if I really want that title.
So yeah, we get another tag team match, which I think tag team matches in the Divas division are just basically pointless.
It's practically all they've been doing is tag team matches. It's the same tag match we've been seeing.
Yeah,
Like there's no. I mean, we'll get it next Monday, but when's the last time we even saw anybody other than the Bellas and Paige and somebody else?
well, we just barely recently started getting Naomi and Natalia back in the fucking ring instead of walking their husbands to the ring, and
Yeah.
it's been a lot of like just like you said, next week we'll get something better, but it's been a lot of just the divas are in the back, not really doing anything.
Yeah,
It,
trying to hit on Kane to get like a match.
yeah, it's doing God knows what. I mean, it's just like they have a whole roster of women. Now let's be honest, not all of them are great performers. And
Yeah.
not all of them are great on the mic, but it's something, like you can do other stuff. I'd rather see
Uh,
like I wouldn't mind at least two, women's or divas matches on the card if like they took away from like they just cut down from like the opening promo and just gave the women a few more minutes for their matches. I have at least two that are decent. I'll be fine with that.
yeah. I mean, it's also a case of like, who would you get to wrestle those matches? Like, it feels like their women's division or Divas division isn't as strong as it could be or should be. To where even if they were going to mix up the matches, we would end up like a month in saying we've already seen this match.
It does kind of feel like they gave them like zero interest for a long time. Just didn't give a fuck about them at all to the point that now that NXT is doing their thing and some of the women matches are actually like the main event of shows.
Yeah.
You know?
And sometimes the best thing going on some shows.
Yeah. And like the whole give Divas a chance thing with like, AJ Lee call it out Stephanie McMahon. I think it's like they're like shit, we need to catch up with NXT. We need to do this stuff and all this publicity we can get from doing this and we have all these eyes on us for our women's division or Divas division. But they put so much they put so little into it for so long that it's like they have nothing to work with really.
I mean,
it really shows that they really not cared for a long time.
I feel like if you look at this match, you can almost tell they painted themselves into a corner, sort of. Like
Yeah.
they spent so much time on the Bellas that nobody wants to see them. And like Naomi, who I like can wrestle better than like let's say Cameron or somebody. Layla, she's better than her too. It's like I felt like in the match she botched a lot. And I don't know if it's because she just hasn't wrestled at all. Like when's the last time she had like a real legit match that wasn't just her doing like a spot in a Usos match?
Supposedly she I think had a match recently against Natalia, which I've been saying they should just let them do that for a while. I think it was probably on SmackDown or some shit, but she was last Raw thing involved in like a 3-on-3 match, tag team match,
Yeah.
and that was pretty decent. I feel like Natalia and Naomi actually brought a little bit more to like the match than what we've been seeing. I mean, Naomi botches and all, and also a really really shitty finisher move.
Yeah. It's awful. Like it doesn't make sense why you would get pinned off of that.
Yeah, it doesn't. But with that being said, he is a great wrestler or a great performer. So it's like it doesn't make sense to use her a little bit more often. And then I've heard people say they want her to have the belt. or they want Natalia to have the belt?
I feel like there's no reason not to just give them all the belt at this point. Like I feel like even if they are wrestling for the belt, like on a pay-per-view, uh, the title like hasn't had any kind of like prestige or recognition for a long time. That it almost seems like who cares. Like the last person to have it that I think was, I don't know, like a good champ was, I don't know, AJ maybe. And who was she facing?
Let
Like
me ask you
Paige.
this.
Like
Let
when
me,
they gave Paige the belt, she didn't do a lot with it because she was in bad feuds.
yeah.
And
Well,
then like, go ahead.
oh, sorry. Well, I'll
Go
just go.
ahead and talk.
Let me ask you this though: you think it'd be better if they actually had like another, like not another championship, but let's say like this: they're doing tag team matches all the time. They had the fucking Datos, which was a tag team for no goddamn reason, and we have the Bellas, who are a tag team for no goddamn reason, other than just being sisters and shit. So, you think it would make sense if they had like maybe like a Divas tag team division or something to make those
No,
matches work, or like
I would
something?
say I would say no, just because their roster for women isn't big enough.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're gonna bring in more people eventually. You think like maybe in the future when they bring in more people, or like at least I feel like they needed like another championship, another belt, like a lower belt or something, to give other
Uh,
people they do.
I feel like an easy thing to do is kind of bring back the women's title
Yeah,
and then have that be a thing, and then have eventually the women's title feud with the Divas title, and then put the women's title over. And then that way it could be like only that way we can get away from this era of like Eva Marie and stuff, and
yeah.
have like the women's belt means that only good women wrestlers have like had the belt.
So you think it
And
should
then
be? So you think it
go
should
ahead.
have like more prestige than like the actual Divas Championship?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't want a fantasy book or anything like that, but I feel like they need to do something to kind of bring prestige to the belt, because Nikki's had the belt for like a year and some change maybe, and like what has she done with it? Like I don't even know the last time she defended the belt.
Well, it's been a little while. Most of her matches, big matches, have been really just garbage. Like outside interference that she pins like the person fast or so. Like she's just very recently started having actual decent matches as champion.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the case of like when you compare NXT to the main roster, it's like when you see their belt, you're in for a good match. When you see the Divas title, I guess we're just still in the mindset of like I need to go take a piss.
Yeah, I mean, and they kind of set it up for themselves. That's how they treated them so far. So it's like it they kind of paint themselves in that corner.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the theme of the whole podcast from now on will be what the hell's going on with this writing. I guess.
It's fucking awful. But yeah, like if they could have like the U.S. title, they could have like didn't they have the television title at one point?
I don't know. I know
I
ECW had a TV title.
Yeah, but I can't remember if WWE kind of like incorporated their stuff as well. But they had the European, they had the
Oh,
hardcore.
I think WCW had a TV title, and they did have it in there for a while.
That's what I'm saying. I think they took the WCW one, like and brought it in. I mean, they've had like they had to cut down on certain belts, but they had so at one point everyone had like a fucking belt. It felt like.
Yeah, they had the lightweight title and shit like that.
Yeah, I just feel like while that's being said and done, the men were given like a ridiculous amount of championships. Why don't you just get the Divas another championship?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess to finish up this match, I thought it was sloppy.
Yeah,
Uh, there was a lot of botches. I don't know who to blame for that. Like I said, I don't know if it's just Naomi messing up or not working in a while, or the Bellas just not being very good.
the Bellas just being the Bellas,
Yeah,
and
Bella's gonna Bella.
Paige being totally out of place for all this shit happening.
And then now that fucking AJ's gone, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a Bella versus Bella like title match for like SummerSlam.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: do you think with Paige being gone, not Paige, I'm sorry, do you think with AJ being gone, did the whole give Divas a chance thing is really just going to go downhill, or you think next week is just basically their way of like try a little harder?
I think at this point, because it was like a deal, like a thing for a while, they can't go back on it. It's like they opened a door they can't close really well or that
Okay.
easily.
Well, the match wasn't good. Just sum that up as the match wasn't good.
Yeah, that'll
And
be the theme for the rest of the night, I guess.
yeah, it was a turning point in which I just didn't really care as much for this episode anymore. Um, well, Paige and Naomi won that one, I think, right?
Yeah, after the rear view.
Yeah, I remember that. It was so forgettable. So we move on. The Luke Harper versus Ryback, just to get this out of the way real fast because they really didn't give enough time or anything. Ryback just kind of he didn't really. It wasn't a squash match, but Ryback really did just run through Luke Harper pretty fast.
Which was weird because it felt like Harper was able to kind of work with him. Like he did that sidewalk slam where he actually managed to get him up and spin him.
Yeah.
And it's like, Ryback, all his matches are just like clothesline, shell shock. But I don't know. It felt like maybe Luke Harper was actually able to do something with him, and then they just like beat him. They pinned him.
I think with Ryback, he is pretty decent. He doesn't get a chance to really show it off as much, but he's pretty decent. Of course, Luke Harper is awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's more of like Luke Harper is underutilized. I think it was just like they just wanted the match to get over, just get it out the way. And
yeah, I wish it.
More, yeah.
I wish it was somebody else that Ryback beat, just because I like Harper, but I don't know. It is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so we get New Day versus Lucha Dragons, and actually address the fact they're getting a lot of New Day sucks chants and all, which they should do, and actually set up for like a different type of gimmick, in which like their personas will kind of remain the same but turn more heelish.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. Did you read some of the tweets that Big E did?
No.
He had like a long thing of tweets where he was just saying stuff like, I clap because while I'm eating food, someone comes up to me and wants me to sign the menu and shit. And then like other stuff.
He was doing a promo where he talked about that.
Yeah, he actually sent a lot of tweets out before Raw. Said all these things like he claps because he gets tired of being in like some city that he can't remember the name of. It's really cool. It's kind of showing that the whole idea of like they're positive because when they're not positive, bad things happen.
I mean,
they said before.
It's practically like I've said every time. Big E's got personality, and if they actually let him show it, then maybe the New Day will get over. Like even his heels, maybe they'll get over. And it's just another case of writing. Like they fucking wrote a stupid gimmick and then didn't let them talk at all. So like, what do you expect to happen? Maybe now this is their way of finally like fixing that.
Kind of let them do their own thing, I guess. A little bit more at least. But it does kind of feel like we get a gimmick handed to us. Like we're going to get a gimmick thrown on New Day that we have to like endure and sit through and shit of them just like clapping and just doing absolutely nothing. But we know for a fact as fans that they're more capable of other bigger and better things because we saw a glimpse of that before they turned into what they currently are.
Yeah,
and I think that always hurt them.
Like I guess the match was fine. It wasn't really much of anything going on.
Yeah, it was decent. My only problem with the match is I felt like afterwards, New Day should have attacked the Lucha Dragons. But I guess it
would have been something.
Yeah, I think they're kind of doing like a slow heel turn. But I feel at this point they might as well just fucking do it.
I mean, it was a chance for Lucha Dragons to get all their stuff in and, not look like assholes.
Yeah.
And I did like when they had Sin Cara, I think, in the corner. And it was Big E and Xavier Woods tagging in and out so that they can stomp him in the corner because they only have a count of 5.
Yeah.
So the ref would like get down to 4, they would tag, the next guy would come in and keep stomping him. It's like stuff like that was cool, but I guess once the heel turn is finally like cemented, it'll be like a lot better because they'll be able to like do tag cheating shit like that.
They really heal it up, the big dicks.
Yeah, they're big dick G's. You know what?
Yeah.
They should just stop being New Day and be big dick G's.
I feel like Lucha Dragons, they actually got over with the fans because of the stuff they're able to do. You know, they got
Yeah.
over with just having nice matches, like cool matches and shit. So I think like they were perfect for New Day to like just attack to cement the heel turn, especially after the
Yeah.
performance they put on, and it was everything was all nice and well afterwards. It would have been a cool turn.
I mean, I think it's a case of they want to build the Lucha Dragons up a bit more because they're brand new. This is their second match on Raw.
Yeah.
And you don't want them to just get beat already,
No, I
you
want.
know, if you want to do something with them.
I don't mean for them to lose. I mean like for them to defeat the New Day just like they did, and then after the match get attacked.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fine. But I feel like what they're trying to do is build up the Dragons. That way, when New Day does go full heel, they'll be able to have like a back and forth, you know, sharing wins and losses.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess the match was fine. It went nothing special though.
No, it was decent for what it was. All right, so then we went downhill again by seeing Roman Reigns go against Big Show. Something we've seen countless times.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll see it up until Money in the Bank.
Do you think there's a reason why they keep putting him with Big Show, even though they're
I,
not really anymore?
for some reason, I don't know if it's fucking Vince or whoever, Kevin Dunn. They just love the Big Show, and they feel like he's got to fucking like putting somebody with the Big Show is like, oh man, he's really gonna be like, you know, it's gonna bring like a big deal to the match or whatever. Like if you go back and look at through the years, like let's say the last 3 years, for example, you know,
Yeah,
other than just seeing Big Show turn heel all the time, he's like constantly getting wins and like they're keeping him strong for no reason, and he like hasn't mattered at all.
yeah, I don't know the deal is with him. But yeah, we see another match him against Roman. Roman's way of working has only been gets the shit kicked out of him most of the match that he comes back at the very end.
Yeah, he John Cena's.
Yeah, I mean, even well, not even because like even John Cena does a little something. You know, it feels really like it's basically almost one sided the entire fucking match, and he comes back, and that's like his way of working, and it works well with Big Show. With other people, it doesn't work as well. And yeah, we retreat to another one of those.
I think it's a case of like it's the easiest way to book a baby face. It's just like the underdog story,
Yeah,
you know, which is why they booked Cena like that for so long. But I feel like if they want Roman to get over, he needs to, you know, be strong. He needs to like almost be like a good guy Brock Lesnar, which Lesnar's a good guy essentially, but you know, he needs to be the new Lesnar while he's away.
yeah. I mean, he needs to. I don't know if it's like he needs more in ring improvement. I mean, yeah, that's not a lie, he does. But I don't know if it's just that, or and that's their way of dancing around it, or they just think it's smart booking just to have him be an underdog like that.
I don't know. Like I don't know if it's a way of like protecting him in the match, you know, where he doesn't have to do like he doesn't have to carry the match essentially.
Yeah,
Because if you're dominating the match, it's you calling it most of the time, right? Like with Cena, how Cena just screams the spots at the top of his lungs.
yeah, for everybody here. Like,
Yeah.
you got that in the rafters? You guys heard? Suplex.
Did you hear clothesline, everybody?
Yeah, everyone, you heard the shoulder tackle? Oh yeah, but
But
the fucking interview with Jericho, he actually mentioned his 5 moves of doom.
oh yeah, what did he say? I didn't watch the interview.
He said, I forgot exactly how many there were. Like I mean, all of them, but if one of them is the shuttle tackle, I did that strong shuttle tackle. So he uses the shuttle tackle twice.
Yeah.
And those two count. The second one's even better. That's why he counts as a different move. And then he goes to the rest of the stuff he does.
Yeah.
Final shuffle, all that jazz, the fireman's carry.
Hey, go home. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's just an easy way to have like somebody beating down Reigns. That way they can call his comeback and stuff like that.
That's how it feels like. It feels like they don't want him to do too much, and they don't want to show like his limited wrestling ability in the ring. So he just gets the shit beat out of him, and then it just comes back to Superman punch, spear. Yeah, Samoan drop. That one like kick thing he does on the apron, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like. Somebody took a picture of it. Like, you know how he has to slap his leg so it makes a noise.
Yeah.
But somebody took a picture of him in midair with his hands up, and it looked like he was doing like jazz hands. But yeah, this match sucked.
Yeah, fucking we're moving on.
I mean, I guess
Actually,
Reigns wasn't, huh?
let me bring up something real quick. There was one time Big Show hit Roman Reigns with a spear. If the spear is so like badass and all, why didn't that hurt like Reigns as much as Reigns hurting Big Show with the spear?
I mean, Reigns is wearing a chest protector. You would think it wouldn't hurt so bad.
I mean, yeah, I mean like big ass huge Big Show hitting you with a spear. I mean, okay.
I mean, if D'Lo Brown has taught us anything, it's that a chest protector is like the best thing to wear in wrestling.
Yeah, probably yeah.
But I don't know. Like,
Unless you're
I
draws.
don't. It's like we said one time where if you give everybody the spear, then the spear is not really impressive.
Yeah.
Like, you remember how we were talking about Goldberg and Edge and shit like that?
Yeah, but
And
it feels like most of those guys actually use the spear as like a fucking setup move. Whereas
well,
like aside from like Reno, like a name, most people use it for a setup move and not their actual finisher.
well, I was just gonna say, like, when those guys were doing the spear, like when Edge, Goldberg, Rhino, they were sort of the only guy in the company doing the spear at the time, which is what helped to sell it as a big move.
Yeah.
But when you got like Big Show doing it, it's like I said, it's a case of like Big Show taking something to try to like get over. Like, you remember when Bryan and Orton were wrestling and Big Show came out for no reason, like 2 years ago? And Big Show was supposedly like a face and shit. And he tried to start doing the yes chants and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was awful. Well,
It's
this match
almost,
was not that good.
yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's to the next match that wasn't really all that good. It was Sheamus versus Mark Henry. It wasn't that bad. It was pretty decent for the two together, but it's just who gives a shit, right?
Yeah, it wasn't nothing to fucking write home about. Like, I guess it was fine for a Mark Henry match. Like, he can't really move around these days for some reason. Maybe he's just older now.
Oh, Mark Henry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just a big ass guy. It's just like it takes him forever to get off the ground, man. When it takes a bump.
Yeah, like even when he was climbing back up to the ropes to do Sheamus's like forearm spot,
Yeah.
it just felt like it took a while. And even Henry was trying to get cheap heat with the Austin crowd by doing the Longhorns, like hook 'em horns. And it just felt like nothing was, I don't know, like nothing was really interesting in this.
The saddest part about it is WWE missed a great opportunity to have to put the tag team straps, on Big Show and Mark Henry when they were at tag team.
I'm surprised they didn't, to be honest with you.
I mean, I think it would be kind of a cool thing to do because at the time there was really nothing going on in the tag team division. That was probably the best thing if you want to call that a good thing.
I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Sheamus kicked the shit out of Mark Henry in the face. Won the match. Moving on.
Yeah, broke kick. I would say the only good thing I liked about this match was I like heel Sheamus dealing with the crowd.
Yeah.
So that was good. I think Sheamus works better as a heel.
He does, and people make fun of his hair. I think that's funny.
Yeah. You look stupid, Chance. He's got a new song.
Yeah, he has a new entrance song.
So no more It's a Shameful Thing, Lobster Head.
Yeah, he can. I mean, it doesn't make sense for to come out to that as a heel. It's fucking ridiculous. I think Sheamus could have been a big deal. He wasn't pushed so fucking fast when he first got there.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's the natural buildup of new Sheamus, I guess. He
Yeah,
just has to go. It's your go out there and look strong, and
yeah,
then when you face somebody like with the belt, then it looks like a big deal. It's the thing they should have done with Reigns.
yeah.
Get a lot of credible wins.
But yeah. So moving on to because that match was it was pretty decent for making Sheamus look strong. But other than that, it didn't really serve any purpose.
Yeah.
We got the Miz versus Damien Mizdow, or just Mizdow, and that felt like that came way too early.
What do you
Like,
mean?
why are we having this on Raw? But I guess, like,
Like,
in a way, we can go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's a way of keeping the feud going, like on TV, so people don't forget about it. I feel like I don't know after the Mania thing, like this feud is just gonna go downhill. It needs to end at Extreme Rules and be done with it.
It does, but I feel like they could have saved it for Extreme Rules and just gave Mizdow some credible wins within that time. Or, like, what they could have done is, like, have Mizdow still doing his thing, and then have, like, the Miz being an asshole saying he has all his stuff copywritten or stuff like that, and he's not allowing Mizdow to use his name anymore or his interests or his clothing or stuff. No, do something more interesting with it. Like,
I feel. Go ahead.
have the Miz, like, saying, like, I created you, and now I'm taking away everything that people like about you.
I almost feel like the Miz should win at Extreme Rules, just so Sandow or Mizdow will stop doing his whole Miz gimmick. Because like, how long can he keep this up for? Like, he
I
comes
thought
out to the exact same music. He's dressed like the Miz still. Like, he
he's
has
doing
no
his wrestling
character.
moves, everything. Yeah, it does
He
feel.
even has the Miz's finisher.
Yeah, that's why I feel like if they would have like actually written it better or kind of like fleshed it out and made it more of the Miz is like taking back everything that he gave Miz down and kind of force him to be his own person by the time Extreme Rules came along, it would be better.
I mean, you do need to build up. Like I said, you need to keep the match, like keep the feud going on
Yeah,
TV so people can care about it.
yeah.
Like, you can't just have them disappear until Extreme Rules.
No, I mean like they had him like all right. Let me explain it better. Like have Miz now come out to like the Miz music, use the Miz wrestling moves, dress like him, do things like him, and have like the Miz probably interfere with his matches, maybe, or probably come out and talk shit, let him know like I gave you all this stuff and I'm taking it back, or like have him serve legal papers or some shit say he can't do this anymore, he can't do that anymore. I mean, just flesh it out where they're still interacting with each other, and they still have beef with each other, but Mizdow's having matches that's kind of building him up a little, but he's also having stuff taken away from him. So he's just
Yeah,
regular ass Damien Sandow by the time you reach like Extreme Rules.
yeah. It's like I said. I feel like I almost want the Miz to win at Extreme Rules. That way,
Yeah,
Sandow like realizes, being the Miz sucks. Like, nobody wins as the Miz,
yeah,
and I can win as being me. Like, Damian Sandow can beat the Miz, not Mizdow.
yeah. Maybe. I mean, they'll probably do it that way. It'll be easier for him just like have that happen instead of like fleshing it out.
But they won't.
You don't think they will? You think they
No,
just keep
this is
doing
that. This is WWE writing. Of course, they're not. They're
you know,
gonna
just
make
keep
it.
on the path they're going right now? Just leave it like that?
I mean, I have no faith in them to write anything like smart. I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh god, yeah. All right, so the Miz beats Mizdow,
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, I guess that happened, and that's it.
yeah. It was like a short match. Like, when you take out all the like play into the crowd spots, it was pretty short.
Yeah, and then we get our main event, which was like really, really short because they only have a little bit of time to actually work everything. It was
And who
Roman
cares
Reigns.
anyway?
Huh?
And in reality, who cares about this main event?
Truthfully, yeah, who cares? Roman Reigns, Ryback, and Randy Orton in a triple threat match to see who would go on to face Seth Rollins at Extreme Rules for the WWE Championship. And it makes sense that Reigns may win. It makes more sense that Randy Orton is going to probably win, which he did. But I was like, why is Ryback just thrown in there?
Well, he's there to take a pinfall.
Basically, yeah.
And I guess he's somewhat over with the crowd, so maybe it's just a chance for him to get more TV time.
Yeah.
I mean, like Reigns was getting what they used to call the girly pop.
Yeah.
Where it was like a lot of women and children like cheering. You know, the girly pop, because it's a lot of people without like bass in their voice.
Yeah, because I know a lot of chicks who watch wrestling, and that's their thing. They like him because he's cute, is what I've been told, or he's beautiful. For what I've been told.
I mean, if we're gonna do that, then why don't we just bring up Tyler Breeze?
Yeah, you just have him give him the belt, have him be champion and shit.
Yeah, fuck it. You know, we can have Prince Pretty.
Gorgeous like chant, you know, he's in there already.
And it's mostly dudes cheering Breeze is gorgeous, so
yeah,
everybody likes him apparently.
It's unanimous that he's gorgeous as shit, right? So why not? Just give him the belt.
But I don't know. I feel like Reigns is just sticking around until he wins Money in the Bank, is what it feels like. He's sticking around in the title picture until he gets Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Well, yeah, what I was going to say earlier about I wanted to wait till we actually got to him. I really do think that Reigns should be out of the World Championship picture, not 100%, but like give him like maybe an Intercontinental or something like that, so he can have another belt. He hasn't I don't think they even had the tag team, right? He hasn't had any kind of championship.
He had the tag team.
Yeah, I was thinking probably he did, but give him like Intercontinental. Now that they're raising it up, making it a huge deal, give him Intercontinental. Fuck, even let him beat Bryan for it. Why not?
Yeah, and, they could play off the fact that he beat Bryan already to build the match.
Yeah, so like have him win like the Intercontinental Championship and just fucking test the waters. I remember the Intercontinental Championship used to be a way to test the waters for like who they're gonna give the next championship to.
Yeah, like if you think back to like the Warrior, it was like what is that, like 93 or something?
Yeah.
It was usually if you won the Intercontinental Championship, it meant that in like a year, let's say, you were ready for the world title.
Yeah, like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, you know, fucking, you just mentioned Ultimate Warrior. Was it Randy Savage as well?
Yeah, he was Intercontinental Champion too.
Was Hogan? Can't remember. Yeah, he was, right?
No, Hogan was always just straight champion.
Just straight champion?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I guess like testing the waters with him to see like what he does as champion, how he does as champion. Because they were so concerned with just putting the belt on him, they didn't even think what kind of champion he would even make.
I mean, somebody pointed out the fact that WrestleMania was Reigns' third singles match on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you think about that, it's like, of course, you know, nobody's going to be like into Reigns because he hasn't like proved himself to the audience or anything.
Yeah, like giving him like the Intercontinental Championship would probably be the best thing for him. And especially if he beat somebody respectable for it. And it's just the fact that he'll carry himself with a championship that's been already raised up before he even gets it. And who knows, maybe we can bring something else to it. And you know, when we see how he's like as the Intercontinental Champion, or they test the waters with him and he does decent with that, yeah, make the next step to World Championship. I mean, that's what the Intercontinental Championship should be. And I think they kind of lost that over time.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was the fact they had so many belts that it just got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it would definitely be better for his character. But like I said, I feel like they're just going to keep him in the title picture till he wins Money in the Bank. I mean, think about when the Shield split, for example. Yeah. You know, Ambrose was just like hurt. Rollins was a bad guy. And Reigns immediately went into the not Money in the Bank. It was at Money in the Bank, but it was that to see who's going to be the first like champion.
What was it like for the Money in the Bank title? I mean the briefcase.
No, it was for the title. The title itself.
Oh yeah, he was like straight into it.
Yeah,
Because that's when Daniel Bryan gave it up, right?
yeah. That was to see who would be the new champion. And Cena won.
Yeah, LOL.
Yeah. But it's like, it was very obvious then, like, Reigns had no feuds, straight into the title match. Like, let's put him over big. And then he gets hurt. But, they keep him on TV like every goddamn day with these interviews.
Yeah,
Remember
Daniel
when he
Bryan
showed
didn't get half of that. They didn't give Daniel Bryan half of that shit when he was hurt.
they
It
didn't
was
give him
like,
nothing. Like, the only time we heard from Brian is when he was on the legit news for stopping an intruder.
which I was impressed by. After recover, like going to rehab, still being able to choke somebody out.
Yeah, somebody trying to rob your house. I mean, shit, they should have given him the title back just based on that story alone.
Um, all right, I watched Total Divas.
Okay.
I don't like to admit that, but it's something I fucking do because I like wrestling so much. I like to watch anything wrestling related. And
But
the only reason,
but wrestling isn't wrestling.
well, they talk about the wrestling and stuff. All right, I watched Total Divas with hope that I may see John Cena or I may see Daniel Bryan every once in a while.
Yeah.
Or I may see like Dolph Ziggler in the background or some shit. And I
But
kind of
no,
like,
all you're gonna get is Eva Marie not being able to have kids, not wanting kids, then not being able to have kids.
yeah, and like always having medical problems. And all right, I don't give a shit about what's going on with the Bellas, but I like kind of like what's happening with Brie and Brian, how they have like a great connection with each other. They're legitimately funny. I fucking
Yeah.
botched that word, but they're definitely funny. And I'm not trying to get deep into the show. What I'm trying to say basically is the situation in which the whole gun situation happened. They touched on that, and they had a whole episode dedicated to like the robbery thing. They had an episode dedicated to if they should get a gun or not, or like get like some kind of fence or whatever. Like the fallback of it was pretty funny.
And it's like, if you're gonna use that for Total Divas, I mean, you have to, I guess, because it's supposed to be reality TV.
Yeah,
Like, you could have used that story or just kind of hinted to that story as why Brian could come back and face fucking Lesnar.
yeah,
Like, if you're gonna make Lesnar be like a legit like badass, like he was in the UFC and UFC champ,
yeah,
why not have Brian be like a legit badass as well? No one's gonna rob my house, and I can just beat up a regular dude on the streets.
yeah. I don't even need a gun. I'll chase you down and just fucking choke you out with my arm in a sling. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and it's like, you could have built off that, but that's not what we got.
I don't think they even really mentioned it on there. I heard that shit like from the news and everywhere else. I don't think they even talked about it in WWE.
Yeah, like I said, it was the legit news had that as a story.
Yeah, they could have done so much with it. I just feel like, getting back to like Reigns and all, I just feel like they could have done more with him and made him more of an underdog without trying to push him on us as like the next big thing. While he's wearing like a shirt that says "I can, I will," and people are booing the shit out of him. It was mixed signals, It's like he's being sold as like this big deal that no one gives a shit about. But instead of like actually like focusing on like, okay, let's get the crowd behind him by making it seem like he can't do it. Or he's not
But the
ready
truth
for it.
is, but the truth is, Reigns is just a wink pheasant.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like because like after WrestleMania, everything sort of resets, and we get the beginning of new feuds and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this would be the time to give them a legit year to build up to, I guess, the title again. Is what it
Yeah.
feels like they're just gonna do. But I feel like that's not what's gonna happen. That, like, the reason I keep saying Money in the Bank is because I think they don't want to keep him out of the title picture, and they don't want to give him like a lot of matches outside of the title picture.
Here's the thing with that. I've been figuring out stuff about their booking and the way they see things over time. A lot of people get pissed at Vince for like everything that happened with Roman Reigns. The truth is, it's Triple H.
I don't know if it's just Triple H.
I'm pretty sure it's not just Triple H, but I know for a fact that originally Vince wanted it to be The Rock, at WrestleMania. And even
which
though
he's
that's
probably still going to do.
yeah, even though that's not a good thing, to just rely on The Rock all the time. This wanted The Rock to be at WrestleMania. It was Triple H's idea to push Roman Reigns so hard, and I think it's like a lot of a lot of balls were dropped. Dealing with they're dropping balls left and right. Dealing with like Roman Reigns, the way they pushed him and all, but it was Triple H's way of like it was him to really push things forward despite the fan reaction, despite what all was happening. And
Yeah.
I think it's his way of how he's done everything. I think a lot of stuff links back to like the Reign of Terror by Triple H in the 30E. Like the kind of booking he did and his decisions he made, where he actually got power within the company, a little bit more control. I think it's that how he just kept the belt and just went over on anybody he wanted to. I think it's the same thing. He's like, well, I'll just push Reigns. Fuck what everybody thinks. They'll just like it.
I mean, they're just going to take it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I sort of feel like it's a case of, like, to get back to the, like, triple threat that nobody cared about.
Yeah.
I feel like, you have Reigns and you have Orton going after the title, and then you have Lesnar kind of in the background.
Yeah.
And I feel like now that Rollins is champ, he should stay champ for, like, a while. Like, it's too soon to have him lose the belt in 3 months or whatever.
Especially considering the fact he carried around the Money in the Bank for so long.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Money in the Bank was sort of, they had no story for that after they gave it to him.
Well, they gave it to him with the idea of like, it paying off later, but it's like we have a champion that's not there all the time.
Well, I mean, like, let's say they went through with their Reigns as champ, which apparently was the plan for a long time.
Yeah.
It almost seems like their idea was just, he has Money in the Bank, he'll cash it in, lose, and then that'll be kind of a feud.
Yeah.
Because if, let's say, Reigns wasn't booed out of the building every time he showed up, like, what was their story with Rollins and Money in the Bank?
Yeah. How was that going to be resolved?
Yeah. I mean, they were lucky that they gave Rollins Money in the Bank and it happened to pay off the way it did.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, nobody's really talking about Rollins as champ, I guess, or no one's thinking ahead to what his championship reign will be like.
Yeah.
I feel like he needs to hold on to it till like SummerSlam or one of the big four.
Yeah.
Where he can finally face Lesnar again and we can get like a decisive win for Rollins against Lesnar.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That should give him an actual win over Lesnar. The match needs to be better. It does become a point in which, like, what's the point of the F5 and what's the point of all these German suplexes? If Reigns just going to kick out of it.
Yeah. And, I mean, at Mania, after he did, like, 3 or 4 F5s,
yeah,
it became a thing of, like, what's the point of the F5? Like, you might as well be doing any other move because it's going to have the same effect.
Yeah, they built Reigns to be entirely too strong. And, like, the thing about him is, same thing. He gets beat up and he comes back at the very end. That's all he does, with the very few moves he does have, or he does use. What he needed to do is he didn't have Reigns have a legit match with Lesnar. Like he's not just getting the shit kicked out of him. He actually is bringing a lot to Lesnar.
I mean, if you're gonna do like a rematch, whenever they have like rematches in WWE, the way their booking seems to be is that the first match will be like a dominant win. The second match will show that the guy can hang, and then the third match like ends the feud.
Yeah.
Like look at Lesnar and Cena. Like that first match was like Suplex City, bitch. The second match was more of a back and forth, and then the third match was the triple threat.
Yeah.
So I feel like they can do something like that with Lesnar and Reigns, but I feel like you don't want Lesnar to lose the reins. Like you kind of have to keep Lesnar super strong just because he's a big deal to the crowd.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would like to see that, but I feel like Lesnar can't lose that feud. Like he can't lose a match. Like the way they've spent the last year building up Lesnar, ending the streak, winning the title over Cena, like in a super one-sided match.
Yeah,
Looking like he can just kick everybody's ass. His
yeah.
first loss should be like a really big deal.
You don't think they should give it to Reigns?
I mean, I feel like if you are, it has to be at like Mania, and it probably has to be for the title. But I don't want to see Rollins lose the belt just to get that match again.
Do you think it'll be something like maybe Rollins lose the belt to like Reigns sometime down the line, and Reigns will be the person that goes against not Cena, but Lesnar at WrestleMania?
I feel like what you said is exactly what's going to happen.
Like it'd be reverse this time. Basically, Reigns had the belt.
Yeah. And then I mean, maybe Lesnar gets, well, let's say it would make more sense for Lesnar to beat Rollins to get the belt back.
Yeah.
And then, well, no, because I don't want to see Reigns win the Rumble again. Because the Royal Rumble is like guaranteed title shot at Mania. So that has to come into play somehow.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know who you would give that victory to. Rollins? Bryan?
It would be cool if they actually listen to their fans, or actually like they have people who monitor the dirt sheets and stuff. It would be cool if they have someone they want to win, and they have them like basically known to be the person who's going to win the Royal Rumble, and then like they fucking like swerve us at the very end, and like someone else that we never expect to win.
Yeah, I think that would be super exciting because like, with a lot of pay-per-views, it seems like an obvious outcome, like with this year's Rumble.
Yeah.
Or hell, even last year's Rumble with Batista.
It's become like more like we know who's going to win, and they're not trying to hide who's going to win. Like they should take that information that we know for a fact who's going to win because they're not trying to hide it, and just fucking swerve us with it. It'll blow our minds. And it'll also make the Royal Rumble match matter because it's just the Royal Rumble match should be someone who doesn't normally get a shot at the championship getting a shot at the championship.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, going back all the way to like Michaels winning the Rumble.
Yeah.
Or let's say Steve Austin, who won it like twice in a row.
Yeah.
Like those wins were just super obvious who was going to win. Like if they spent time, like let's just take Ziggler, for example.
Yeah.
Like let's say the whole year they give him a lot of really good mid-card matches. Occasionally he'll go up against like I don't even know who, like a Ryback, and he'll beat Ryback, but he's not in the title picture.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the Rumble and Ziggler just wins out of nowhere, like it feels like he's in the final 3 or 4 and he manages to throw the other guys out. Like, you know how big the crowd would react to that? Like,
it would be fucking crazy. Crazy, man.
Yeah, and he doesn't even have to win the belt. Like, it could just be a guy who wasn't built up as the big 3 pay-per-view main event guys. Like, let's say for tonight as the main event. But it's somebody who's getting a lot of wins, who's looking really strong, and then goes out there and does it out of nowhere. Like, it doesn't even have to be Ziggler. It could be anybody, and it would just be a big deal.
Yeah, 2 things need to happen for the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. First thing is, to make it more random, where it feels like someone who never would get a shot is getting the big shot. So that way it matters. That's one thing. The second thing is, they also have to reestablish that winning the Royal Rumble doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win at WrestleMania. They did it this year, but the last few years, they actually had it set like this guy's going to go the distance, basically.
Yeah.
And this whole process pointless.
Like, let's say we do use the idea of, like I was just saying, we build Ziggler up the whole year. He wins the Royal Rumble out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it could be the big underdog story. He goes to Mania and loses, but he's still going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Because he did it out of nowhere. He didn't have a big chance of winning, but he still went out there and, hung with the champ for, 20, 30 minutes.
It's fucking Rocky, bro. It's like Rocky retold in the ring for, wrestling.
Yeah, it'd be Rocky. Yeah, like you said, Rocky 1.
Yeah.
And then, we would want to see him come back Rocky 2 style and actually win the belt eventually.
Yeah.
not to spoil Rocky for anybody who hasn't seen that 40,
If you
50-year-old movie.
you ever see Rocky, what are you doing with your life? What are
Yeah.
you doing with your life?
I thought you were an American. God damn it! And if you're not, watch it anyways.
Yeah, yeah. I thought you were gonna bring Rusev into this, but all right. So look, back to the main event that no one gave a shit about. Randy Orton won, and basically went off air. That's it, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, shit, we're going over time. It's it. End it.
Bye, everybody. Bye. That's basically what happened.
Yeah.
It felt like I forgot who was commentating at the time. Was it who was doing the commentating?
Byron Saxton.
Yeah, I think it was. It felt like he ran out of shit to say when they were going off air.
Somebody
It was
go ahead.
It was a long shot of like fucking Seth Rollins in the ring, and he felt like he was just running out of stuff to say. Like he felt like he needed to say something when they were still on air. It felt like really like uncomfortable and awkward.
I was listening to a wrestling podcast about last week's Raw.
Yeah.
And they were saying that it seems like Byron Saxton is nervous and doesn't know how to deal with the 4 or 5 people yelling in his headphones.
Well, I think it's like for SmackDown or so, it's pre-recorded. They kind of work around it. It's not much of a big deal. But I guess he gets one shot. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like Byron Saxton because, as I said before, I feel like he doesn't have a lot of personality.
Yeah.
But when you think about the fact that you've got Vince and Kevin Dunn and other people in the headphones that go and say this and say that, and you got to do this, it makes sense why you wouldn't be able to have show anything to the live audience.
Yeah, it'd just be weird. Like everyone screaming in your ear all the time. Because from what I hear, they want certain things said and mentioned. They want certain things done at a certain time, and it's very hands-on controlled.
I mean, if you can find the satellite feed, do you remember when they used to have the satellite feed of Raw?
Yeah.
Where it, you can hear, I guess the microphones. It picks up the microphones, or you can hear the production team talking. And you can hear Michael Cole saying, do I have to say $9.99 again? I have to? I just said it. All right. Well, the network's only $9.99.
Yeah. It's ridiculous the stuff they have to say and shit they have to sell.
I mean, they were in Austin, and the 2 Texas guys showed all the personality in the world that they usually do.
Yeah.
JBL and Booker T.
I hear they're going to just drop it down to just JBL and Booker T.
Now, they have to have a straight man in there.
I mean, that's just rumor so far. Maybe next week would probably just be JBL and Booker T.
I think I would I like JBL and Booker T. I know everybody hates them, but
I like them.
It's something different. But I guess
if you need a straight man, it would just be a bunch of bullshit the whole match. A bunch of Michaels and Shucky Duckies.
Yeah. This is my fave 5. But I feel like what I would like to see is more of a you can keep Byron Saxton out there and then throw out Corey Graves and Renee Young. And I feel like that should be our new commentary team.
Yeah. That'd be perfectly fine.
I mean, Renee Young would be the first Raw female announcer, or no, play-by-play, whatever the hell they are.
Yeah, play-by-play commentator.
Yeah, and if you remember when she was on NXT, she knows all the moves. She knows backstory and shit for people.
Yeah.
She comes off as somebody who knows what the hell she's talking about.
Yeah, it just adds another dynamic to it. But I think they're probably not thinking that forward.
I really wish they would. I mean, now that NXT is a thing, and we're gonna be bringing in NXT stars, God help us when fucking Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Finn Balor show up.
Oh, I think Finn Balor is gonna come out and be a big deal because of his interest. The way he comes out.
Yeah.
I can see the fans getting along with basically loving that. It's gonna transition over just fucking Bray Wyatt did when he comes out. with the ladders and everything.
Yeah.
But Sami Zayn is going to be a mid Carter, and
He should
Kevin
be.
Owens. He shouldn't be, but he will be, because that's what's going to happen. And then Kevin Owens is probably might give him a shot because Triple H is really fond of him. But until Vince says no, we don't want him anymore, like on the top, he'll probably be at the top for a little while. To probably go straight to mid card as well.
Like, I feel like the time we bring those three in, or just more of the NXT people in, we need to fire a bunch of the like main roster, and then switch up. Like I said, like with Renee Young on commentary, it needs to almost feel like a new product.
They're not going to change it. I mean, they're satisfied with what it is and how it is. It's almost like they put on the show for themselves, and we just have to like it the way it is. Like, I mean, they'll see us as customers. That's what we really are. We're customers who are buying their products, who are buying their network, all that stuff. We're invested into their product, and they don't see us that way. They see us more of like, this is what they want to do, and it's like we want Pepsi, and they're like, no, fucking Coke, take Coke, and that's all we're giving you is Coke.
And I guess the internet wrestling community is like, but I like Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, they're like, well, fuck your Dr. Pepper, we give you Coke.
Yeah, and then like the kind of audience that goes to Raw is like, but no, Pepsi.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like now that Rollins is champ and that his match with Neville, it should prove to Vince, or it definitely proves to the audience that you don't have to be a big, bulky guy to be a really good wrestler or to be very, like, really entertaining.
Yeah.
We don't need, like, a big muscle dude to fucking go out there and get Vince off like he likes.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
I just feel like have they not learned from Shawn Michaels? What the fuck?
I know, right? Like, those two are widely regarded as like two of the best wrestlers of all time, and they're not like giant Hulk Hogan's.
It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, even Macho Man wasn't as like fucking huge as Hogan.
No, and he was quick as shit. Like, he kind of brought jumping off the top rope to like a big audience. But no, what does Vince want? Let's put Luger out there. I want Lex Luger to be champion.
Luger Express. He wanted that Express ran on him, probably.
Yeah. Maybe a little diesel power in the back end there.
Yeah.
They got to be big, goddammit. I like them big.
I don't know. The way they book things is just they'll list their audience. There's not much we can tell them, and it's the only company I've ever seen in which they put out a product and expect people to buy it regardless. And I feel like if they had competition to come out of nowhere, they would really struggle. Not as bad because the network actually helps them out a lot, but as far as like their live shows that's being broadcast on TV, they would probably struggle.
I feel like if NXT was a bigger deal, like how NXT is trying to run house shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Like if NXT was able to draw bigger crowds than like a regular Raw show, maybe that would prove to them that we need to switch the product up a bit.
I think they'll never happen because I don't think they will allow NXT to grow as big. Well, I think it's more of a call for Vince. Will probably not allow it to grow as big.
Well, they're probably F'd in the B then, because at San Jose they drew like what, 15,000 or something.
Yeah, they're not going to be putting in arenas that can house like a lot of people who want to see NXT. I mean, that's one thing, and they're always going to downplay it a little.
Like I feel like NXT is only going to grow, and the way that they have like talent, or the way they're bringing in like known talent, it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, they could easily take away 1 hour of Raw, like the first hour, and just put NXT for that first hour.
Oh man, they would get such huge ratings.
Yeah, like they could like cut it down to a 2 hour show and not lose their the fucking deals they have, like around the commercials and rating for them. It's only that long for the commercial buy rights they
Yeah.
have. Like they won't lose it. They can just transfer it over to NXT, have like 1 hour of NXT leading into 2 hours of Raw, and just like work on forming that 2 hours to be a really good show. Because I guess that it is hard to write 3 hours of a show every week. So I understand that. Just lower it down, have 2 hours of it, and they have NXT to come on before it. You have like the feature leading into like what the present is.
And maybe like doing that, it would force the writers to not have like so many bullshit squash matches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? I guess the rumor going around now is that my favorite like indie wrestler ACH is supposedly going to sign a NXT contract or a developmental contract.
I haven't heard about that.
It was on Lords of Pain. I guess that's a plug, but
yeah.
They were reporting that ACH is in talks with WWE, which that's going to be fucking badass.
I heard the Briscoes as well. I think I already mentioned that. They're bringing in the Briscoes probably. Because their whole plan is they want to move up certain people in NXT, but they want some people who have already done it, veterans, like from like the independent circuit to come in and kind of like hold the show down as they're moving like some of their other talent up. Which is smart. It makes sense.
Yeah, and those are people who already have been wrestling, and you don't have to you would have to teach them WWE style, but you don't have to build them from the ground up or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to bring in people who are already ready to work and just go ahead and throw them out there. Just kind of tell them what they can't do and what they can, and have them to hold it down as they move up, like some of their bigger stars they have.
I mean, there's all kinds of people they could bring in. Apparently, Uha Nation is signed or maybe signed.
Yeah.
They could bring in AR Fox, who I like a lot. There's plenty of indie guys still out there that aren't in NXT and aren't, I guess, well known to a mainstream audience.
Yeah. They can bring them in, repackage them as they've done it with Kevin Owens.
Yeah. I mean, shit, like Uha Nation is like a super big deal in Japan. Like, he even has his own song and shit. I would say look it up. It's pretty fun to listen to. He was that big-ass built dude I showed you who could do the standing shooting star.
Yeah.
You bring that guy in, he could be a big deal. He's Vince's favorite muscle dude, and he can also move around in the ring, and he's worked with a lot of the NXT guys.
Yeah, it'll be perfect. All right, we're getting off subject. Now we're actually talking about what we would like this product to be instead of what it really is.
Yeah, and I don't like to do that.
Yeah. All right, so basically, Randy Orton won. I think we already talked about that. The show goes off air. The end of that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a good Raw. Like, all the momentum from WrestleMania was totally gone by the time like this Raw came. So I don't know what to say about it. It's just like I guess everything's downhill from now.
Yeah, it's one of those where people are already saying it's the worst Raw or it's a terrible Raw. And I'm trying to keep it all in perspective of like, it's the beginning of the year. We have to kind of give them time.
Yeah.
But isn't summer usually? Is it summer? Yeah, that's usually the dead zone for wrestling writing.
I'm not actually sure.
Because it's like once they build, you don't really get a lot of good things until the build for SummerSlam. And then after SummerSlam, you have like Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and then it's time for Mania again. And that's when it really gets going.
Yeah, I think they wait a little while. They do like what they call the season premiere.
Yeah.
Where they kind of not really reboot everything, but they try, I guess. I don't know what to call their season premiere.
But that's usually around SummerSlam time, like when they're trying to build big stuff. It's like every year, Extreme Rules always feels like this is just a pay-per-view we have to do.
Yeah. Another thing about it, they need to have less pay-per-views. That's another thing. I think they're at a point in which, like,
yeah.
I think they're at a point in which they can kind of like get rid of some certain pay-per-views and kind of like have more time to build up like their storylines. But that's like just wishful thinking.
Yeah, I mean, they got the network now. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, I was saying, don't have to worry about pay-per-view buys anymore, so they can just kind of like take away some of them.
I mean, we saw blood at Mania. That should prove that they can do whatever.
Yeah. All right, that's it for today's show. And yeah, was it a good Raw? Hopefully they'll do better next time. All right, so check out our website, sellin.ziggler.com. I'm Notorious JIM. And my tag team partner.
Uh-huh.
I'll come up with a different name for you every time.
All right, that'd be your new gimmick.
Yeah, Mr. Magnificent.
Why not?
Have a good one, guys.